Good evening, everyone. We apologize for our tardiness. The regular meeting of the Kansas City Public Schools Board of Directors on July 25th, 2018 is now called to order. Will the secretary please call the roll?
Ms. Manser,
Here.
Ms. Wolfsey, Mr. Lewis, Ms. Lewis, sorry, Mr. Oates,
Present.
Mr. Fierro,
Here.
Mr. Evans, Mrs. Morris, Dr. Hartsfeld, here. Ms. Robinson.
Here. Board members Evans and board members Morris have requested an excused absence. If there's no objection, we would like to excuse the absence of our two colleagues. They're excused. Board member Lewis will be joining us by FaceTime. Thank you for joining us, ma'am. Is there any objection to the approval of the agenda? Seeing none, the agenda is approved. We now have public comment. We have two individuals that are have indicated that they wish to address the board. Each public comment is limited to 3 minutes per speaker. DeMonte Rochester from DAC. DeMonte here. Next, we have Tom Love, fully comply with Senate Bill 319. Welcome back, Mr. Love. You have 3 minutes. Once you get to the podium, we'll wait.
Well, I'd like to say hello to Miss Lewis, if she can hear me. I have what I think the school board members had asked for several months back, and that's the MAP test scores from 2017. And according to this, basically it's a third of the students are reading 2 years or more behind. And they qualify for Senate Bill 319, which is I call it the literacy law. And according to that law, there's these students that are in this category. In other words, they're reading at the end of third grade, they're at first grade level or below. They're entitled to, not only entitled, but required by law to receive a minimum of 40 hours of summer school and a minimum of 30 hours during the school year. Well, this summer, the district presented this Senate Bill 319 report that only fourth graders received help. Now, under the law, it says it's supposed to continue to sixth grade. So we're supposed to have a third of all the fourth graders, fifth graders, and sixth graders, it looks like to me, which would be like 1,000 students receiving help. No fifth graders or sixth graders. What's up with that? I don't understand. So the success that we got with the 49 students that attended summer school, 40 of them were promoted to fourth grade. They had achieved the ability to complete second grade reading level when they were promoted to fifth grade. But under the law, they're supposed to be getting help this next year, during the school year. So here in a few weeks, we're supposed to have help for them. Are we going to do it? Are you going to leave them there? Are you going to do like the AmeriCorps students and only help the students that are just below grade level and forget about this third of the students and just kind of, the low-hanging fruit and just, like this one friend of mine said, what do they do? Just let the fruit rot? Are you not going to provide the literacy labs for them, qualified people? We're going to have 11 people helping 22 Title I schools. Most of them aren't even qualified. They're going to spend the next year and a half trying to learn how to be reading teachers. And yet we have $9 million and we only hired 4 reading specialists. Come on. Doesn't make any sense. We're breaking the laws. We're breaking the Title I laws. We're breaking this literacy law. We're not providing. Next year we're going to have a law that requires us to test any student that's struggling in reading to see if they have dyslexia. That's who half the inmates in prison are. 49% of the inmates in Texas prisons were identified as having dyslexia. We're going to test them, but we're not going to have qualified people to help them? What's up with that? It's your responsibility.
Love. Thank you, Mr. Love.
I would like to have a question sometime. I know it's against the rules, but why not? Why not break the rules?
Thank you, Mr. Love. Do we have any ad hoc committees that wish to report this evening? Okay. The next item of business is the report of the superintendent. The chair recognizes our superintendent, Dr. Bedell.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We wanted to give a video highlight of our 150 years video, which was a celebration that we recently conducted, and wanted to share that with the community. I think it's pretty powerful, the work that personnel in our communications department conducted, and so we want to go ahead and share that with the community. And then the other item, which would also, I'm not certain if it's a part of it or be in addition, will be some comments. Charles Harris, who was a recent youngster who graduated from Lincoln College, went to MU, and is now playing in the NFL, and has made a decision to come back and provide a lot of support to the school district.
We are KCPS.
The story of Kansas City Public Schools begins on August 1st in 1867 with the establishment of the first Kansas City Board of Education with 6 members under the leadership of Superintendent J.B. Bradley. This was just 14 years after the incorporation of Kansas City, Missouri. It also followed 4 years of Civil War, when public education came mostly to a halt across the state. With little public money to buy or build schools, in October of 1867, the superintendent and a faculty of 16 teachers began work in rented rooms. Their commission was to provide a free, high-quality, and comprehensive public education for all of the 2,100 school-age children who lived in the city at that time. Kansas City and its public school system grew rapidly, with the number of school-age children doubling in just 2 years. As public revenue increased, land was purchased, and the city's first purpose-built schools were constructed. The school system had 8 buildings, including Central High School and Woodland School. The story of Kansas City Public Schools is one of service to the community, but also of challenges and improvement. The Civil War may have ended legal enslavement, but it did not address legal, social, and economic racism and discrimination. Public education in Missouri was extended to all students, but not equally. KCPS was no different. Schools were legally segregated, with white students and African American and other students of color attending separate schools based in neighborhoods that were also segregated. In 1869, KCPS opened Lincoln High School, the first school of its kind in Kansas City for African American students. Kansas City Public Schools became an innovator in public education in the United States under the leadership of Superintendent J.M. Greenwood, who served from 1874 until 1913. He helped create a systematic curriculum across all grades, with a focus on language and composition. Greenwood also established the region's first public school department of health and physical education, something that was very rare in public schools in the U.S. at that time. Kansas City, Missouri became a boom town and an important transit point for commerce as the nation expanded west in the late 19th and early 20th centuries. School officials worked hard to keep up with the increasing enrollment. By 1899, there were about 50 schools in the system. As KCPS expanded, its educational approach began to shift with the tides of the progressive era. Rather than rote memorization, students were encouraged to learn by doing and trying. Classrooms were built to facilitate specific subjects like art, music, and vocational, or manual as it was called, training. The goal was to help students develop skills they could apply at home and in the workforce. Students were also prompted to explore their individual interests. Kansas City Public Schools continued to grow through the baby boom that followed World War II, reaching a peak of 77,000 students in the early 1960s. With the Supreme Court's Brown v. Board of Education ruling in 1954, KCPS also began the long and difficult process of desegregation. The decades that followed were challenging for the school system as it struggled to integrate schools while the city's population declined. But even as enrollment fell, KCPS continued to focus on serving families in the community and to produce graduates who went on to raise families and do great things around the nation and the world. Heading into the new century, school system leaders made tough decisions about right-sizing, overcame tremendous challenges, and led the district back to the cusp of full state accreditation. Today, KCPS offers world-class educational opportunities for all school-age children. Our neighborhood schools provide an outstanding public education. Lincoln College Academy is ranked as the best high school in Missouri and is among the best in the nation. We boast 2 Montessori schools, a Spanish-English dual language school, Spanish, French, and Mandarin Chinese immersion programs, cutting-edge career and technical education programs, an early college academy, and a middle college program. We are developing a mentoring program to pair caring adults with 8,000 of our students. We have unique partnerships with Sprint, the Mexican Consulate, and other businesses and organizations in order to better serve our families. Our staff is being trained and equipped to address the social and emotional needs of our students. We serve students from families who speak dozens of different languages at home. The school board, Superintendent Mark Bedell, and the entire KCPS team are fully committed to making this a school system focused on equity, so that each student has a real opportunity to reach his or her full potential. For 150 years, KCPS has provided comprehensive, high-quality public education services for our community. In 2018, we are renewing our commitment to Kansas City, Missouri. Please join us as we go all in for our families.
No, we have a short clip with Charles Harris that I think is very powerful, a call that he's made to the community as a whole, but in particular our alumni, people who've graduated from this school system. So let's show the board and the community that clip.
The all-in project, that just sounds like faith. That just sounds like you're gonna literally take whatever it is that you have. You might not have money, but use your time. Just put something in. Just put something in, right? It don't matter how big or how small. Just do something, right? Forget support. I'm done with support. No more support. We want service. We need service from the community. Forget support, right? We're done with that. We're done with that. This is support. Oh yeah, that's good. Okay. No, we don't need that. No, seriously, we do not need that. We need service.
And so what I wanted to share with you all was that that young man signed a pretty nice contract, and he's probably the most humble pro athlete that I've ever had a chance to speak to, and he's one of our own here from Kansas City. And one of the things that he said was that while he views this money as a gift, it's an opportunity for him to do a lot, he also views it as a curse. And he's very religious, and he talks about how difficult it is, you know, for a rich man to get into heaven and those types of things. And what he said was he wanted to utilize his money to be a value add to this school system, and he wants to, you know, and he wants everybody else to do the same. And if it's not money, it's about your time, being able to volunteer your time. And so I want you all to know that we're extremely proud, and we are looking for the support. We really want this community to help us. And Charles Harris is a prime example of what can be done, whether it's monetary or through volunteering your time. So I just wanted to share that with you because that was a very powerful aspect of something that I learned from a young man.
Thank you, Dr. Bedell, for your report. And thank you for recognizing our 150 years of being service to Kansas City. We're really appreciative of your leadership on that. For our regular business, item 3.01, the chair recognizes Dr. Bedell to present this proposal.
Thank you, Madam Chair. At this time, we are asking the board to take action on the Greenwood property demolition in the amount of $410,000.
Are there any questions regarding the adoption of the agreement with HECO Incorporated for abatement and the deconstruction demolition of Greenwood School? It would now be in order to receive a motion on this proposal.
So moved.
Second.
It is moved and seconded to adopt the proposed agreement with HECO Incorporated for the abatement and deconstruction demolition of Greenwood School. Is there any debate on this motion? Seeing no debate, the question has been stated. This is a roll call vote. Those in favor will respond yes. Those opposed will respond no. The secretary will call the roll.
Ms. Manser,
Yes.
Ms. Wolfsey,
Yes.
Ms. Lewis, Mr. Oates,
No.
Mr. Fierro,
Yes.
Mr. Evans, Mrs. Morris, Dr. Hartsfeld,
Yes.
Mrs. Robinson.
Yes. There is a majority in favor, and the agreement with HECO Incorporated is adopted. Item 3.02, the chair recognizes Dr. Bedell to present this proposal.
This time, we are asking the board to accept the Code of Student Conduct 2018-2019 printing services in the amount of $30,000.
So moved.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
This will be a roll call vote. Those in favor will respond yes. Those opposed will respond no. The secretary will call the roll.
Ms. Manser,
Yes.
Ms. Wolfsey,
Yes.
Ms. Lewis, Mr. Oates,
Yes.
Mr. Fierro,
Yes.
Mr. Evans, Mrs. Morris, Dr. Hartsfeld,
Yes.
Ms. Robinson.
Yes, there is a majority in favor and the Code of Student Conduct is approved. Item 3.03, Lincoln Middle School construction contracts. Dr. Bedell?
Thank you, Madam Chair. What I wanted to do was have Ms. Quinn Lee to come up. We're asking the board to approve our recommendation for the Lincoln Middle construction contracts in the amount of a little bit over $7.7 million. And what we wanted to do was to share with the community the intentionality that we are utilizing to ensure that our minority business enterprises and also our women business enterprises have an opportunity to be a part of this project. And it's a way that we want to conduct business for moving forward. We want to be as equitable as possible, and we know that our board is very sincere about that. So Ms. Quinn Lee, I wanted you to just kind of share a little bit of what we're doing differently with this project than what we've done in the past.
Certainly. With your approval earlier in the spring, we approached this project under construction management, which basically means we're going to have a lot of individual contracts where we contract directly with vendors rather than them being subcontractors to a general contract. And so with the help of McCown Gordon, who's represented here tonight, and we'll be happy to answer questions about this process, we issued the first round of those bids, and so there are 15 of them here for you to look at. And the intentionality has been around making sure we give our small businesses opportunity to participate in the projects that their tax dollars are using, and specifically then tracking both our efforts and our successes with finding minority and women-owned businesses to participate. So these 15 contracts total just over $7.7 million. You have them listed there for you individually, and the amount of paper that was in the board packet, because they each come with their own AIA contract, was really significant. That $7.7 million, 33% of those are minority-owned business and almost 1% are women-owned businesses. So we are ahead of our projected goals right now on this project and riding right at our expected cost in total, and have these for you to consider. If you have questions about those processes, I'm sure those gentlemen would be happy to answer them.
Board Member Oates?
7.7 represents. Can you remind me what the total price was? 16 million. Right?
We're hoping to come in total between 16 and 18 million.
Okay, and so when we come back, we'll be able to update what these totals are.
Yes, we'll just continue this spreadsheet as we'll ask you to only approve the new, but we'll be tracking this throughout the project so you know where we are always.
Great.
Board Member Wolfsey?
Ms. Quinn Lee, can you remind me, off the top of my head, I'm thinking 30 to 40%, but what is our goal with regards to, you said we're way over, but what is typically our goal?
On this project, our goal is right at 20% in total. And so that's also our district-wide goal normally.
Board Member Manser?
Thank you, and that's tremendous. So we've far exceeded that goal. And I know this was a large process and very complicated, but it feels like we have yielded a really positive and strong result. My question is there any input or feedback that you receive regarding how this process went for those applicants, for those bidders? And is there any kind of feedback that will inform us as we go forward and potentially repeat this kind of process for future projects?
I would ask that someone from Account Gordon come help us with that. So while Mr. Dietz is coming up, I can tell you that part of the role of the construction management firm, it was made very clear that this was their job, to help us meet and exceed these goals. And so they've done the majority of this work and have worked with the individual bidders back and forth. So Luke will have the best information.
I'm not sure about that, but Dr. Bedell and Board of Education, my name is Luke Dietz, and I'm an operations director with McCown Gordon. I think the best way to answer that question may be it's about building relationships. And so we spent a considerable amount of time and resources in one-on-one meetings, meeting with community members. We held a recruitment event and really just tried to work and develop strong relationships, not only with ourselves, but with the district as well. And I think it's not really tangible, but I think that's probably the best way to mimic and yield those types of results in the future as well. So.
Yes, Board Member Fiera.
I would just add to that point, I would acknowledge McCown Gordon's relationship building and the event that was hosted here at the district office. Myself and Natalie Lewis were in attendance and very well attended. I thought you all did a great job of answering questions, coming off very sincere and engaging, and so I just wanted to comment on your behalf.
Thank you.
Board Member Hartsfield.
Thank you. I was just looking at the 15 bids that were given out, and which are women-owned.
On your,
Oh, you can't do it? Okay. On that chart, we do show the minority and women-owned business. You can't get scrolled over? Can you see that television? So I can, no, I can, right, no. Chapel Electric is 100%. Did you find that column? Okay, okay.
I would like to commend you all on behalf of Carl Evans and myself. I would give you a kiss for all of the hard work that you all have done on this. But you really have set the bar, and very appreciative of just really with precision developing those relationships and bringing people to the table and creating an environment in which people can succeed. And so I'm very proud of KCPS on today with the 33% minority participation.
Madam Chair, if I could, I would definitely want to commend your team. I mean, it's a monumental task to do it, to take the approach that we're taking, but if we are to be intentional in ensuring that we're going to allow for many of our businesses to have an opportunity within the community to work with us, then this is well worth it. So I do want to thank you and the team for the work that they're putting in.
Okay, it would now be in order to have a motion on this.
So moved.
Second.
It's moved and seconded to approve the Lincoln Middle School construction contract. Is there any debate on the motion? Hearing no debate, this will be a roll call vote. The secretary will call the roll.
Ms. Manser?
Yes.
Ms. Wolfsey?
Yes.
Ms. Lewis? Yes. Mr. Oates?
Yes.
Mr. Fierro?
Yes.
Mr. Evans? Ms. Morris? Dr. Hartsfield? Yes. Ms. Robinson?
Yes, the majority is in favor, and the contract with Lincoln Middle School contracts are approved.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Before we move to the final item of the board agenda today, I do want to remind everyone that the Back to School Summer Fest takes place on August the 4th, Saturday. Is it 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock? What time is it? I know it's 10 o'clock. So it begins at 10 o'clock, and so it's on our website, but we want you all to encourage people to come out. We are always looking for volunteers. We tend to service well over 5,000 people at this event every year, and it's a great opportunity for us to come together as a community to get people excited about the upcoming school year.
Thank you. We all are excited to participate in that. It will now be in order to receive a motion to approve the items on the consent agenda.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the items on the consent agenda. This will be a roll call vote. Those in favor will respond yes. Those opposed will respond no. The secretary will call the roll.
Ms. Manser,
Yes.
Ms. Wolfsey,
Yes.
Ms. Lewis. Yes. Mr. Oates,
Yes.
Mr. Fierro,
Yes.
Mr. Evans, Mrs. Morris, Dr. Hartsfield. Yes. Ms. Robinson.
Yes, the consent agenda has been approved. This brings us to the conclusion of our meeting for this evening. If there's no objection, the meeting is adjourned. Thank you.